What is the best SSL channel strip? When I saw this question submitted via our website, I I instantly thought, yeah, this is an interesting one. This is a good question that there's there's a lot to choose from. You've got the SSL native. You've got the Brainworks, which do G and I think E as well. I think there's actually J as well. They do. You've got the UAD version. UAD used to do the 4K, and they also do the E series. The question being which is the best for me, and this is obviously a personal preference. For me, there's only one winner, and that winner is the SSL native. For me, it is hands down the best, and this is coming from someone that has them all, has used them all, has compared them all, and I feel the native version of the SSL is the most accurate, is the most is the best sounding. It really does sound the best of all the channel strips. The SSL native one does sound the best. The Brainworks ones, the J was really nice. I like the J. The E and G, for me, I always found them a little bit coloured. They had like they had a sound to them, which personally I wouldn't say SSL are known for having a sound to them. They're always very clean. The native one, on the other hand, is just like I had an SSL. I built an SSL X-Rack console, and I used that a lot, and I loved using that. But I came to realise that the actual SSL analog EQs and compressors were so similar to the native ones that SSL do that it was more beneficial to use the SSL native with the UC1 controller, because you were physically getting an actual better sound because you were using it so hands-on. So the only difference there was you had the native SSL software versus the hardware, and without the controller, you would argue that the hardware is better because you get more hands-on with it. You're more jumping across around the EQ and the compressor, which is true. And hands-on control of anything makes things so much better. When the UC1 controller came out, that really then stepped up the SSL native channel strip into something that was, I would kind of say, that channel strip using the UC1 or using a Avid S4, it's better than the analog, because they sound very similar. They sound almost identical, but you've got all the hands-on control and the instant recall. So it's incredible for that. The worst of all of the one just to not even bother trying, or just don't even go down the route of using this one, is the Waves version. The Waves version is just terrible in comparison. If you compared the Waves version with the native version, and then what I consider the in-between versions, the UAD version and the Plugin Alliance versions being the in-between, you compare the Waves version and the native, they're night and day different. Like, I understand, like, SSL licensed their name to the Waves one maybe back in like, I don't know, 2005 or something. And back then, it was good because there wasn't anything really else that was as good. And in 2005, it was all right. The Waves version was what a lot of people were using. But come on now, we're in 2021 now. The 2005 Waves version is way behind the emulations of the SSL native now. Even if they've brought out a newer version of it, it's not. It's just not. It's basically an SSL skin with a poor EQ and compressor in it. It's not. Don't even think of it as the SSL channel strip. Moving away from Waves, also their subscription thing, not even subscription, their update plan is unbelievable. Like, I don't know, I've given up with it. I really have, and I'm sure many of you have. So moving away from Waves, because I personally, for me, I think Waves are an irrelevant plugin company, and these days there's so much better out there. Plus the way they're treating their customers is real bad. Right, anyways, that's a different video. The UAD version is really good. UAD have got one with that's got the Unison preamp, so you've got that with it, which if you were tracking and you wanted to use the Unison preamps with the EQ and compressor, brilliant. That's probably the one you want to use rather than the native one, because if you're tracking through the UAD pre's, maybe use that. Although saying that, SSL aren't exactly renowned for their preamps. I mean, it's not like you don't record through an SSL preamp for really kind of Neve color or API kind of styles and things like that. You know, you use them consoles for those sorts of things. You generally don't use an SSL console for tracking. Well, I don't anyways. I've always seen the SSL console as more of a mixing console. It's a super clean, super clinical, doesn't have a sound to it. Don't get me wrong, they are unbelievable. You work on a Duality or an AWS and they are a different class. They sound amazing. They just don't sound like anything. It's kind of a contradicting statement. They sound amazing, but they sound really clean, and that's what sounds amazing, if that makes sense. So getting back on point, the SSL channel strip that is, for me, 100% the best one is the SSL native. And I guess that's also because they are SSL. So who better to produce the SSL channel strip than the company that it's kind of derived from. So that's, if I was to buy one, if I was to be going out and buying an SSL channel strip today, I would go and buy the UC1 controller. I think it's about £550, something around that. But if you buy that, you get the channel strip plugin and you get the bus compressor plugin. So you get all the plugins to use the controller. You will get a better sound using the controller than you would using a mouse. And you get the best version, in my opinion, of the SSL channel strip. So there you go. That's my opinions on what is the best SSL channel strip.